Hello. In the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to a process I have created called Journeying into Your Heart, a tool for Ascension. I have created this process out of my own intuitive abilities. So it's not really a communication I had with an entity or with an angel or channeled. It's simply to do with my own abilities. It's my growth over the last 20 years, just to give you a little bit of background on me. I practiced different types of meditation, and a turning point for me was when I discovered Vipassana. I attended a 10 days silence retreat, and for those who are interested, you can find details below. It's free and there are centers all over the world. And this taught me a lot about meditation. But I have created this process because I think it's time to go beyond meditation in a sense, or use an alternative method to meditation, which is a lot simpler to use. And by connecting to your heart, you also access a type of wisdom which I think is needed for the changes that are occurring to the planet. In order for you to understand better what I'm referring to, I'd like to spend a few minutes talking of 2012, the Ascension process, the solar changes in the solar system, and of planet Earth. But I like to focus a lot more on the changes that are happening within ourselves, our mind, and a phenomenon that that we can notice on a daily basis. I begin by talking on two subjects. One is the solar system, the other is the planetary alignment. So, in the solar system, all of the planets are heating up, including planet Earth. So, yes, it's true, there is global warming going on due to human activities. But mainly, the reason why our planet is heating up is due to is also in the rest of the solar system. One of the theory is that this has got to do with what is happening in the sun being the center of the solar system, the main star. But this is not being fully proven. And on the other hand, the scientists are noticing an unusual activity on the sun, including solar storms and other solar activities, which is unprecedented to our modern era. So that means that this happened before, but the scientists cannot fully explain what that means. The second issue is the planetary alignment that the Maya referred to with the date of 21st of December 2012, where the Earth is going to find itself in an unusual position right at the center of the Milky Way, or the galactic center. So, how we can better understand what's going on, really? Due to a principle that says so above and so below, which is an hermetic principle, we got to assume that if something is going on in the solar system and there is a planetary alignment happening, we're definitely going to feel different. So let's start to notice what changes within you in order to understand. First of all, let's speak about our intuition. if you've been following your gut instinct, your deeper knowing, you know that you are actually increasing this level of understanding. And the changing of the planets that are happening on the planet and above, they've got to do with this sixth sense becoming awakened and nurtured. So more intuitive you're becoming, the more also you're going to pay attention to synchronicity. Synchronicity has got to do with the people that you meet, events that are happening to you that might have a thread, and also the dreams that you're having, that it's going to be premonition, or just the quality of the dream that is kind of unusual, that requires your attention. Those are phenomena that have been going on for at least the last 20 years, but they are definitely on the increase. There is another aspect, though, that is more recent, that is something to do with your health. Your health has been changing. You might notice more depression, tiredness, also some people also with their blood pressure. But if you're living in the ego, those symptoms are stronger. If you're living in the heart, instead, you're beginning to feel less of those symptoms, so you're beginning to feel very, very well. This brings to the conclusion that we need to develop all different ways to deal with ourselves. In the past, we had psychology, with psychotherapy. More recently, personal development that is focused mainly to performance, and so is another way of the ego, accelerate learning and so on. And then we have meditations, which is probably a deeper way to looking at mind and go beyond the ego and transcend. And by transcending, this brings peace and well-being. So let's look at meditation, really, because this has been the closest to changing and to have a better life. So in meditation, if there is a purpose to meditation, it is to still the mind in order to experience your essence and transcend your body-mind connection. It's going to become clearer once I go through the stages. So any type of meditation begins by paying attention with the breath. And after we kind of get used to breath, then we start to get bored. And then our mind begins to pay attention to our thoughts, desires, and our memories. And it has also an emotional attachment. Eventually, the mind begins to lose attachments to those thoughts and desires. And once that is happening, then we go in a little bit deeper. We start to have sensations. The body start to, the mind start to pay attention to sensations in the body, and focuses in particular areas in the body, and eventually transcends even that and gets to a point of nothingness where nothing exists. And this is the first glimpses into the no-ego. So there is no ego, and there might be a sensation that there is no even the body there. There is only nothingness. And the last stages, basically, of meditation is when we are into flow. Our essence is so strong that we no longer feel a body, but we feel usually pleasant. Although flow, to be in flow, is something to be experienced. So it's hard to find the words to describe the state of flow. But because we are changing, also meditation is becoming less effective and too time consuming. Some of the cons of meditation that it takes a long time to become good at it. It requires effort, an enormous amount of discipline, and it's so difficult to remain meditative, be the witness of your own reality, the observer of your own reality for 24 hours a day. Besides, it's such a struggle with your own ego that is going to stop you to transcend and is going to fool you all the time. Must be a better way. So the alternative is to tune in into the heart. What's the difference, really? Well, when we're dealing with meditation, we're mainly dealing with the mind. As we said, we're trying to still the mind. Let's look at the difference then. In the mind, there is always duality. In the heart, there is oneness. In the mind, there is the ego and eternal fight with separation. In the heart, doesn't know separations. The mind will always have doubts, while the heart, there is always a deeper knowing. Scientists have recently understood that there is an intelligence in the heart. When we talk in the heart, and in the process that I've developed is fully explained, we're going into an area which is not necessarily the heart as an organ, but is the entire area that it goes from the heart and all the way to the solar plexus, which is also an energy center or a chakra center. This is also a way to better connect to other beings and entities if you wanted to go that route.